Hi everyone, it's Phil here from Ashland Leather, and you can see on the table I've got a bunch of brand new Irregular wallets that we're going to be putting up on the website this Monday at 5 p.m. Central Time. And I wanted to give you a little preview of each of these wallets before they go up, because a lot of the Irregular wallets tend to be pretty popular and there are many of them to see here, so I'd like to give you a nice chance to see what you could get before they're put up. And let's start off first here with some Tony the Ants. I've got a natural shell cordovan Tony the Ant, and I should mention that all of the Irregular wallets will have some sort of cosmetic issue. Most times they're really hard to see. In fact, I'm looking at this one right now. I'm kind of having a hard time seeing it, but it could be anything from a misplaced stitch or maybe some imperfection in the leather. On this particular wallet, I see there's a little bit of a dark dirt spot in the bottom right here that's kind of hard to see. And that's kind of how it is with most of these Irregular items. They're often things that are really difficult to see, but we see them and I just can't offer them for full price. The next wallet up here is another natural item, but this is natural chrome excel, and this might be a good opportunity for me to compare and contrast the natural shell cordovan here with the natural chrome excel. You can see the shell cordovan has a little bit more life and vibrance in the color. It's a little bit more orange, where the natural chrome excel is a little bit more of an ivory color. So we'll give you a look at the outside of this guy. I just love chrome excel. This is actually the most popular chrome excel color from Horween, and you might be able to see these bits of cosmetic imperfections in the leather on the right side card holder. And here's another really neat Tony the Ant, and this one is in the marbled black shell cordovan. The marbled black ranges from these orangey tan shades on the left to sometimes a little bit more of a dark forest green. You can see some little bits of dents on the right side card holder here. And I noticed on the outside of this guy, this is about as dark as we see a marbled piece. There are some very light, more tan shades on the bottom right here, but overall this is almost reads more of like a dark green color. And here's another Tony the Ant, but this one is in the whiskey shell cordovan. It's pretty similar to the natural shell cordovan here, but you might notice it's a little bit darker, a little bit more brown and golden in color when compared to that natural shell. I'll give you a look at the outside of this one and on the inside here too. Here's a classic color number 8 shell cordovan Tony the Ant. Take a look at the luster on the outside of this one. That's really magical. I just love looking at the shine of all the shells and sort of tilting it in the light like this. I think that's really cool. We've got more color 8 shell on the inside. Here's a Tony the Ant in intense blue shell cordovan, and it might look a little bit black, which is why we sort of moved away from this intense blue shell in favor of the denim blue shell, which really reads more of a true blue shade. If you look really closely at this, at some angles more of those blue tones pop out, and other angles it kind of just appears black. Here's the Tony the Ant in color number 4 shell cordovan. This is my second favorite shell color. The color 4 is a medium brown with reddish undertones. In some angles it almost looks a little bit more caramel, like at that angle there. I just love the shade. And before the amaretto shell came around, the color 4 was my favorite shell color. And here is a black shell cordovan Tony the Ant. Again, this is one of the Irregulars. I can see a little bit of a gouge on the beveling on the top center right here. But this is a good opportunity for me to show you the difference between the black shell and the intense blue shell. And it's subtle. You can see on the right, the intense blue shell here, definitely a little bit more blue, where the black is more of a straightforward black shade, of course. And again, this is another one of those colors where I just love looking how the light bounces off of it. I think it's almost like a futuristic look. I'll give you a look at the black shell on the inside of this one. And we're gonna move into a Bugs Moran here. This is one of our pre-ordered Bugs Moran in the vertical card slots. We don't currently have this on the website. We can absolutely make a Bugs Moran with these vertical oriented card slots on the inside. So you got 2 card slots on the right with a hidden card slot underneath, as well as 2 on the left with a hidden card slot under there. This one is an Irregular for some small stitching issues. And here's a one-shot card case in dark green shell cordovan. Usually we don't see the one-shots as Irregulars, but this one has a little bit of a leather issue, a little bit of a cosmetic issue on the top center right here. Let's move into some Capone money clips, and this one is in black Dublin. For me, the black Dublin is the best black leather around. It's the only black leather that I've found that has any amount of character to it. You can see all this bits of grain character in the Dublin, and that's pretty unique. Most times you see a lot of black leathers that are just really heavily finished. It almost looks more like paint than leather. And here's another one, a classic color 8 shell cordovan on the Capone money clip. The color 8 is that classic cordovan color. It's become synonymous with the word cordovan, and it's sort of this oxblood burgundy dark brown shade And this one has a little bit of red undertones to it. And that's sort of the range for color 8 shell. Sometimes it can be a little bit more purple and sometimes it's a little bit more red. Here's another Capone money clip, but this one's in the natural shell cordovan. I can see the irregularity on this. Looks like we got a little bit of a dark spot on the shell right here under the top card holder. I'll give you a look at the inside again with that nice Horween ink stamp in the center. And here's a Capone money clip in our most popular leather right now. This is the English Tan Dublin. I've been wearing this exact money clip for almost 7 months now, and I've been really enjoying it. The Dublin leather develops a really nice patina. And we have 4 Frank the Enforcers to show you. These are all going to be on the irregular sale for Monday. This one's in natural shell cordovan. This is about as light as it gets for a shell color. And if you enjoy patina, I definitely suggest picking a lighter color shell because it gives you more room to develop a darker transformation for patina. And the luster changes quite a bit. This one starts off pretty bright and shiny, but as you wear it, with any piece of shell, the luster starts to develop from inside the leather and you get these nice layers of luster. Here's another Frank the Enforcer, and this one's in my favorite shell cordovan color. This is that amaretto shell cordovan that I alluded to earlier. It's a little bit more of an orangey tan shade, and it has a really nice vibrance to it. I'll give you a look at the front of this guy. There's some little scuffs and scratches on the left side here that might be hard to see. And on the back here, more amaretto shell cordovan. Here's another Frank, but this one's in the garnet shell cordovan. This is the most red color of cordovan that Horween makes. And for a bunch of years, this color was also known as ruby or color number 2 shell. So if you imagine the range from color 2 to color 4 and then color 8, this is about half the darkness of the color 4. It definitely reads as a little bit more of a red shade. And here is another black Dublin piece, but on the Frank the Enforcer, you can see this incredible grain character on the back of this wallet. And let me give you a look at the front. This one does not have a hot stamp on the front, but we do have a bunch of that incredible natural character in the black Dublin. And let's move into the Bugs Moran here. And we're going to start off with another piece of black Dublin. The Bugs Moran is a really great option if you like to carry your wallet in the front pocket. I really like the form factor of this wallet. It fits perfectly in your hand. And on the inside, you've got 4 card slots, but the larger 2 card slots, these will fit US dollars folded in half. So it's a really versatile yet compact wallet. Here's another really cool piece. Check out this Bugs Moran. We've got intense blue shell on the outside with a reverse interior. And I love all these random dye marks on the reverse interior of this Bugs Moran. Here's one in ultraviolet shell cordovan. Check out that color. This is a little bit more vivid of a purple shade and brighter as opposed to the color 8. Definitely more of a pinkish purple shade on the ultraviolet. And that's a really cool piece with I love the dye marks on the reverse side of the ultraviolet. We've got a couple more Bugs Morans here. This one is in color 4 shell again. It's a little bit more caramel of a color on this particular piece. Definitely a medium brown with those reddish undertones. On the inside we have a reverse interior, and I like the way the reverse interiors were in. And here's another ultraviolet piece, and I just love this color. This is sort of a favorite for when people see this in our shop. They tend to gravitate towards the ultraviolet. You can see on this piece of shell here, there's like a little dot in the finish, and I'm not really sure what that is. So we had to downgrade it, make it an irregular, sort of reduce the price on it. Here's a look at the inside. That's a really cool dye mark on the center. And we're gonna blast through some small goods here. This is a key fob in the natural shell cordovan. This one was not stitched all the way to the top. And here's a color 4 shell piece again, but on a key fob. The stitching got a little close to the left edge there. And here's another key fob. This one is in whiskey shell cordovan. And on the back of it, there's a little bit of a scratch on the back of this key fob. And we have a couple watch straps to show you. This one is a garnet shell watch strap. Again, that most red shell color that Horween makes. It has a really dramatic color shift to it. So some angles it appears a little bit more of like a cherry red, and the other angles it reads a little bit more brown. And here is another watch strap, but this one is a 2-piece watch strap in an 18mm lug width, and all of our watch straps have a 2mm taper. So we've got 18mm at the lug side, and it tapers down to 16mm on the buckle side. This one's in a really cool piece of raw natural shell, and I wore a raw natural shell strap for about a year, and I love how this one wears in and develops a great patina. Here's the Lexington key case in a marbled black shell piece, and again, this color ranges from sort of an orangey tan on the left side here to more of a forest green color. And before we get on to some more of the full form wallets like the Fat Herbie and Johnny the Fox, This is a machine gun jack, and this is a wallet that we can still make. We don't offer it on the website right now, but this one is in intense blue shell cordovan. If you're not familiar with this model, it's a very simple card holder made out of one symmetrical piece of leather. So I like the design on this. It's good for a front pocket. It won't hold cash very well unless you fold the cash into thirds, and I'll give you a look at the backside here. And let's get into some Johnny the Foxes here. Check out this piece of whiskey shell cordovan on this Johnny the Fox. This is one of the nicer pieces of the irregular items. We have color 8 shell on the inside with this nice natural and waxed burnished edge. I think that's a really nice piece. The Johnny the Fox is our most popular wallet style right now, and I think it's because it's really relatable. When most men think about a wallet, they tend to think about this type of design where you got a bill slot on the back with the card holders on the inside. This one here is in black shell cordovan on the outside, and we have a black horsehide latigo on the inside. This is a leather that is custom tanned for us to be extra thin, extra strong, and have a nice aging ability. And what I also like about it is it keeps the wallet super, super thin. Here's another wallet with that black horsehide for the inside, but this one has a teal latigo on the exterior. There are some cosmetic issues on this particular piece of teal latigo, but I love the way that the latigo leather wears in. In fact, I'd like to do some more wallets in different colors of latigo. I think it's really, really nice, and I love the black and teal color combo. And here's a special piece, especially for an irregular. We don't tend to see a lot of these, but this is an all reverse color 8 Johnny the Fox, and we've got a great Horween ink stamp on the backside of this. I love the way that the reverse shell wears in. It almost wears in like the raw natural shell cordovan. You can see it starts a little bit dull. It has a little bit of life in terms of luster, but it's definitely not as mirror-like and shiny as a normal shell. But when you wear this, it tends to develop that glassy, bright surface luster, which I really like. And we have a reverse interior on this guy also with a Horween hot stamp, which we normally don't do on the left side here. And we have 2 more Johnny the Foxes to show you. This one is another piece of blue shell, but this is the denim blue shell, and you might notice it sort of reads more immediately as a blue color as opposed to that intense blue earlier. It's a little bit lighter, more vibrant of a blue shade. And I really like the combination of this denim blue shell with the mock interior. And that word mock, M-O-C, we believe it's just a shortened phrase for moccasin. And it's just a color designation here. It's a light tan shade, and it's a little bit yellow. And this leather is the same leather as that other horsehide we saw earlier, but just with a different dye to it. Here's another wallet with a mock horsehide interior, but this one has that most red color shell on the outside. This is the garnet shell cordovan, and it's a really nice piece of garnet shell. I remember this batch of shells from about a year ago. It's some of the nicer pieces of shell that I've ever seen. It's just like got a really smooth and bright shiny finish to it. And we do have a couple special Valet trays in the irregular batch today. These are Valet trays that have brands cut into them. So on the bottom side of the tray, the side that will touch the table, you can see this little bit of scarring and branding on this particular Valet tray. So we do have 2 in color 8 shell. I'll give you a look at the other one with that same sort of branding. This one looks like an S on the back. And here's a couple pieces of black shell. So this one has a little bit of a brand, like a T on the left side here. And the last Valet tray, this one doesn't have the hardware on it yet, but this will give you an idea of what it looks like when it's all unsnapped. It makes it a little bit easier to travel with. This one has a big O brand on the bottom here. And let's finish it off today, all these irregulars, with the Fat Herbie. And this is the wallet that we've been making for 10 years now. This is the first wallet design that we ever made. And check out the grain character on the outside of this wallet. This natural chrome excel, this particular piece has a lot more character than we normally see. There were a few wallets that we shipped out this week that had this incredible natural character, and the chrome excel, it's kind of hard to find, so we don't always see them, and usually they're more flat and even in color than this one. And I'll give you a look at the inside here too. Here's another Fat Herbie, but this is in the English tan Dublin, and I think this is my favorite non-shell leather. I've been noticing that everything I'm wearing these days, including my watch band and my belt and my wallet, are all in the English tan Dublin. I just really can't get enough of this leather. I love that vibrance in the orange color of that English tan. It's really, really nice. And if you look at the inside, it looks a little darker and more brown pieces for the inside of this Herbie. And here's this really special Herbie. This is that denim blue shell that definitely reads more of a true blue color as opposed to the intense blue. Really cool. It's got some blue stitching on the outside with a reverse interior. And check this out. This is a natural reverse interior with some blue stitching to sort of contrast that. And then we've got 2 Horween ink stamps. Here's a really clean and sleek Fat Herbie. This is black shell cordovan. Again, I love the way the light bounces off of this particular color. So we got black on the outside with black on the inside. I just think that's a really sleek look. And here's a pretty nice irregular. This is natural shell cordovan on the Fat Herbie. This is one we found this week and actually has a little bit of a dark spot right here on the outside back right. But other than that, this is absolutely perfect. We just can't send out a wallet for full price with something like that in it. If you look at the interior, it's a really nice piece of natural shell. And here's something you don't see often from us. This is a piece of cobalt blue Dublin on the Fat Herbie. This one has a little bit of an imperfection on the leather right here. It's like a little pockmark or something. But take a look here. The surface of the cobalt blue Dublin is very dark. It really reads as a true blue, but the undertones of this leather are a lot more light and vibrant in blue. So you get a really nice depth of color on the cobalt blue Dublin. Here's a look at the inside with more cobalt blue Dublin. And here's my favorite shell color on the Fat Herbie. This is the Amaretto shell cordovan. Love this orangey tan shade. And it's really dramatic the way the color changes on it. This sort of color shift that happens where some angles it's a little bit more light, a little bit more orange, and on the other angles it sort of shifts to a little bit more red and brown. And I just find that color shift to be completely fascinating. Here's a look at the inside with more Amaretto shell cordovan, and there's something pretty special to me. The blackness of the ink stamp, how it contrasts with the orange color in the Amaretto, I think looks really nice. And here's an irregular Herbie in the whiskey shell cordovan. It's a little bit more golden brown when compared to the natural. This is a pretty nice piece of whiskey shell. And of course, there's going to be some imperfections in this product. So on the inside here, you can see there's little marks on the left here that might be hard to see. And this little bit of a line on the left card holder. And the last wallet in the irregular sale this month, this is the ultraviolet shell cordovan on the Fat Herbie. So we've got ultraviolet on the outside and on the inside. There's a little mark on the bill slot top right here. That's kind of hard to see, but it's definitely there. That's something that should blend in pretty easily just with normal use. And if you look at the interior, this one is pretty clean on the inside. There's some little marks on the left side here. And let me show you some of the items that we're sending out today. If you ordered off our website in the last day, these are yours. And this first one here, natural shell cordovan on a Bugs Moran. This one has been personalized for EH. Take a look at how nice this piece of natural shell is. And you shouldn't see any imperfections on these. This is not part of the irregular sale. Here's another wallet. This is a Tony the Ant. It's pretty similar to that Bugs Moran, but the big difference is that the Tony the Ant has this bill slot on the backside, and it's a little bit wider. You can see it's a little bit bigger in my hand when I compare it to the Bugs Moran, which is a little bit more compact. Let me do a better job comparing the sizes here. The Tony the Ant is just slightly longer. And here's our most popular wallet right now. This is the Johnny the Fox in 100% English tan Dublin. That Dublin color that I love so much. I just love the grain character, and the color in this leather has a really great feel also. And then we've matched that with some Dublin on the inside, so you get this really clean look with English tan Dublin on the outside and English tan Dublin on the inside. All of the edges are nicely waxed and hand burnished, so you get this nice little bit of luster. I like looking at the finished edges on an English tan Dublin because it almost looks like a finished piece of wood. And here's another Dublin item. This is actually, I was taking a look at our stats. This is our third best selling item right now, is our Horween leather belts. And this one is an English tan Dublin. I've actually been wearing one of these belts. I find it to be really comfortable, and it's wearing in really nicely. We've got these oval shaped holes, which I also think is a nice little detail that just makes the belt a little bit different. We've got a solid brass buckle with an antique brass finish, and then we stamp the sizes on the flesh side of the leather to indicate that this one is a 38. And I've got a black shell cordovan key case going out. This is our Lexington key case with one screw post on it, so you can fit 3, maybe 4 keys in this. If you want to hold more keys in one key case, we also have the vault key holder, which has 2 screw posts, and you can fit 6 to 8 keys on that one. This one is in a piece of black shell that's thinner than most pieces of black shell that I normally see. And the last item here, this is a 2-piece watch strap in the green shell cordovan. This is actually 2 layers of shell cordovan. So you got this thicker piece of strap, and you'll have shell touching your wrist as well as shell facing the world. And then this one has been stitched around the outside edge. Some people like this look. It sort of gives it a little bit of a framing. So thanks for checking out the irregulars in the video today. I'm looking forward to launching these on Monday, and I'm going to try to do a live stream with all of these irregular items. If you want to take a better look at those, stay tuned for the live stream. And if I was going to pick a wallet from this batch, I think it would be this Johnny the Fox here. There's something really special about this whiskey shell on the outside with the color 8 shell on the interior. I think this one is almost too nice to be an irregular, but it definitely has some very small issues that we just can't sell it for full price. So thanks for checking it out. I hope you have a good weekend, and I'll see you again next week.